Tonight, she made him do it. Danny Deacon's defence lawyer claims Carly Sinclair provoked her partner. A major drug syndicate smashed in raids from Queensland to the NT. Michael Gunner heads bush on his first official trip as Chief Minister. Testing their tactical training, our troops hit the ground for Northern Shield. And the young crew on the trip of a lifetime sail into the top end.
This is 9 News with Amy Culpitt.
Good evening. A Supreme Court jury has been told Carly Sinclair provoked her own death during a conversation with her partner, Danny Deacon. Deacon's defence argued it was the perfect storm and a normal person could do the same thing under the circumstances. And Isabel Mullen joins us from the Supreme Court. Izzy, what happens now?
Well, Amy, Justice Peter Barr will start summing up tomorrow before the Supreme Court jury retires to consider its verdict. They'll decide whether Danny Deacon is guilty of murder or guilty of manslaughter. But, Amy, we're still in the dark as to how long that might take.
Izzy, thank you. A 62-year-old man has been arrested in the Territory, accused of being part of a major drug syndicate based in Queensland. Officers say the crime gang used bikies as dealers to push the deadly drug ice. Our forces in the Middle East will be given legal protection if they kill members of Islamic State not directly involved in combat. The change came as the Prime Minister outlined advances in the war, but warned we could be targets elsewhere. Michael Gunner has headed bush to the electorate of Arnhem to thank voters for helping return Labor to power. The new Chief Minister may be looking forward, but he and his team are still closely monitoring the fate of his deputy. Troops involved in Exercise Northern Shield across the border in Western Australia.
At one of the most isolated defence bases in Australia, hundreds of personnel are bunkered down. The night brings with it some relief from the heat and a much-deserved rest.
The start of September usually brings with it the start of the build-up. Georgie Chumbley joins us now. Georgie, was it really as bad as it felt?
Amy, at around 7 o'clock this morning, the humidity was already 91%. The actual temperatures barely exceeded 31 in the city. That humidity made it feel much hotter. And it was the same right across the top end, 34 the top at Noonamah, 36 at Middle Point and Bachelor. Will the build-up continue to build? I'll have more later in the bulletin.
Let's hope not. Thanks, Georgie. In the news ahead, history made as the first commercial flight from America in decades touches down in Cuba. Meet the young Territorians who've returned home after an adventure on the high seas. Plus, a unique look at Australia's new $5 note.
Tonight's news is brought to you by Fork & Dagger's new brunch buffet. Enjoy your gourmet favourites every Saturday and Sunday, only at the Fork & Dagger Bar and Grill.
Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff has been thrown out of office for manipulating the country's budget. She was ousted by Brazil's Senate after it voted to convict her of illegally using money from state banks to boost public spending. The skies between Cuba and the US got a little friendlier today. A commercial flight between the Cold War enemies touching down for the first time in decades. Passengers were greeted by water cannon and flags as they walked down the stairs at Cuba's Santa Clara airport. American tourists have been unable to fly to the island since 1961. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, taking to the high seas as part of the crew of a tall ship. For 5 young Territorians, their dreams of sailing have become a reality as they rolled up their sleeves and set sail on the young endeavour. Farah's move to the Rabbitohs has hit a hurdle, with the West Tigers telling him they can't afford to pay his contract out in a lump sum. Henry Jones joins us now. Henry, will the deal go ahead?
Amy, all parties are keen to get it done, but the delay is the last thing Farah needs after spending the back half of the season in reserve grade. Meanwhile, the Tigers are dealing with another big problem as they push for a place in the finals. And I'll be back with more as the NRL gets set to trial a new rule. Will it be good for the game? And players treated at the US Open as a heatwave takes its toll. Amy, that's coming out very shortly.
Great, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Henry. Still ahead, a mother in hospital, a father missing. What happened on this family day out? Disturbing research reveals phone addictions are getting out of hand. In Syria, like you've never seen it before. A new tourism campaign raising eyebrows. A father is missing, a mother is in hospital, and their 3 adult children have been left distressed and bewildered after an interstate road trip went horribly off course. Police have described it as a bizarre set of circumstances as they focus their efforts on finding the missing man. It's not the first place that springs to mind when you're thinking of your next holiday destination, but a new ad is trying to transform Syria into a tourist hotspot. Despite years of conflict, the clip shows idyllic waters and packed beaches. The campaign was filmed in a town that earlier this year was hit by a series of deadly bombings. Henry Jones returns now with sport. And Henry, the Aussies finally have some luck.
Yeah, they won't be going home empty-handed. We'll have more on that after the break. Plus, can the Raiders continue their hot streak and win 10 in a row? Selection headaches at North Melbourne ahead of the finals. Will Drew Petrie feature? And we go one-on-one as the Thunder coach sums up season 2016.
Tonight's Sports Report is proudly brought to you by Harvey Norman Electrical. Shop with confidence. Shop online and collect from the store.
Can the Roosters end their season on a winning note? Find out when round 26 NRL action between the Broncos and Roosters gets underway straight after the news. Meanwhile, the Dragons and Knights will trial a radical rule change this weekend, which will allow captains to review and refer decisions made by referees. The NRL is seriously considering bringing the rule in for the 2017 season. North Melbourne captain Andrew Swallow has backed veteran Drew Petrie to hold his spot in the Kangaroos side, despite calls for him to be dropped. Petrie might make way for Jared Waite should he prove his fitness for next week's elimination final in Adelaide. In a season of huge expectations, the Thunder fell short on delivering back-to-back flags many had hoped for. Injury and inconsistency plagued the side, leaving coach Xavier Clark to sum 2016 up as a year of missed opportunities. An elimination final was all the Thunder could muster in their premiership defence.
To get to finals obviously is a good thing, and but obviously we wanted to go through and try and get that back-to-back tilt.
It was a year impacted by major injury. Utility Julian Lockwood, veteran Aaron Motlop and Ryan Smith were hardly cited.
It makes a big difference. It's not the reason, the whole reason why we ended up the way we did, but it certainly had an influence.
While injuries are unavoidable, effort is controllable. Some lacklustre showings ensure the entire list will be reviewed. The coach forecasts change.
There's a fair bit going on at the moment behind the scenes around where players are at, what are their plans for next year. Are they planning on playing again next year?
The blooding of young talent, including Ezekiel Frank and Michael Mummery, should help fill the void moving forward. But how much Thunder footy Mummery will play next season remains to be seen.
Certainly want to see him play a little bit of NTFL football and national championships and play senior Thunder footy next year, but his bigger picture stuff is something that we've got to take in consideration.
As for recruiting, Clark will scour the NTFL, looking to reinforce each end of the ground.
Probably need another key defender of some sort and a small forward to support Buff and our tools. So we will certainly have a good hard look at that. Who they are, I don't know.
Cam Islet is the hot favourite to secure the club's MVP, while Darren Ewing booted a lazy 51 majors to top the goal kicking. And in his maiden season as captain, Shannon Rioli has proven his leadership material and should hold on to the role.
I thought he still had a real big impact on game day, and he will only get better as a leader, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him develop in that role.
The plan now is to rest, reset and build momentum through the off-season. Australia has claimed the one-day series in Sri Lanka with that 6-wicket win in Game 4. John Hastings took 6 as the hosts were restricted to just 212 runs from their 50 overs. Aaron Finch got the Australian innings off to a flying start, hammering 55 from just 19 balls. George Bailey top scored with 90 as Australia reached the target with 19 overs to spare. Heatwave conditions have caused drama at the US Open. Sydney-born British player Joanna Konta needed treatment, delaying her match for 20 minutes. Konta returned to win in 3 sets. Rafael Nadal had no issues advancing in straight sets under Flushing Meadows' brand new roof. Australia's James Darkworth was eliminated by Joe Wilfried Songa in 4 sets. And that is Thursday in Sport, Amy.
Thanks very much, Henry. In the news ahead, the latest headlines, plus a look at our new $5 note and the Aussie team who helped make it unique. Not for the faint-hearted, a bicycle ride 250 metres up. The 23-year-old who's living proof you should never give up.
If you see something amazing.
Damn, something blew up.
Become a 9 News source. Shoot it, send it, see it on 9 News.
Now to our top stories. Danny Deacon's lawyer says the accused murderer should have his charge downgraded because Carly Sinclair provoked her own death during a conversation with Deacon. Territory Police have arrested a 62-year-old man accused of being part of a major drug syndicate stretching from Queensland to the top end. And troops involved in Exercise Northern Shield have begun tactical training in remote Western Australia. The Reserve Bank today released a new $5 note. It's more secure and has many world-first features that, over time, will become standard in all our banknotes. Georgie Chumbley joins me again for more weather. Georgie, there's a chance of rain tomorrow.
Amy, one day out of the dry and it could get wet after the break. All the weather details.
This weather report is proudly brought to you by Palmerston Furniture and Bedding's September Super Sale.
You'd be forgiven for thinking we were in the middle of the build-up in Darwin this morning. A very humid start to the day, even a few scattered raindrops around the region. Outside right now, it's still pretty warm, 28 degrees. And the relative humidity is 73%. Earlier temperatures reached 32 degrees in the city and was warm as 36 inland. A broad area of low pressure extends across the north of the continent, bringing with it a deepening low through South Australia. And would you believe there's an increasing chance of showers and storms as the trough moves northwards into the top end. Looking around the country, and it seems spring hasn't yet brought warmer weather down South Sydney and Canberra, the rainiest of the capitals, partly cloudy and 18 the top for Alice Springs. Back home, west and northwesterly winds on Darwin Harbour, about 10 knots increasing. High tide tomorrow will be 11 minutes after the sun rises, the afternoon low of 1.7 metres just after 1 p.m. Now, our friends at Fishing and Outdoor World say Darwin and Bynoe Harbour Arms are good for a barra. Try the change of the tide at Leap Point or Quail Island for dewies, and good reports coming out of Roche Reef for golden snapper. Tonight's catch of the day goes to Sam McMillan, who sent in this photo of mate Reese McEwen with a 122 centimetre dewey. The pair caught off Fenton Patches. Boys, bonus points for getting up early or staying out late whenever this was taken. You've won the prize pack on your screen. Around the top end tomorrow, it'll be warmer in the rural area. Humpty Doo and Berry Springs both heading for tops of 35 degrees. A 40% chance of a shower in Darwin, 32 degrees it'll be here. And looking at the 7-day forecast, cloudy until at least Sunday with maximums of 32 degrees. From there, a slightly warmer 34 degrees is predicted, Amy.
Thank you, Georgie. To finance now, and the All Ords dropped more than 18 points at closing time. Our dollar is buying over 67 euro cents, 75.29 US cents, or just over 10,000 rupiah. That's 9 News this Thursday. I'm Amy Culpitt. Good night.